The whole team wants a launch on Friday, but you can already see a problem that nobody has mentioned.
You need to speak up, yet saying, "That is a bad idea," could make the room go cold.
Welcome back to Learning English Together, where I am David, and my nervous meeting voice sometimes sounds more direct than I intend.
And I am Anna, and today we will disagree clearly, calmly, and professionally in a real team meeting.
We will practice 4 powerful phrases. I see your point, but could you walk us through that? Could we meet halfway? And I could get behind that.
You will learn to raise a concern, ask for evidence, suggest a compromise, and support the final decision.
Stay for the final review. When one difficult disagreement becomes a practical plan everyone can accept.
The meeting is starting, and the Friday launch date is already on the screen.
At 10 on Tuesday, our manager says the client loves the demo, so let us release the new app to everyone this Friday.
Everyone nods, but you remember that the payment screen failed during yesterday's test.
My first thought is Friday is impossible, which is honest but not very helpful.
Start by recognizing the other idea. I see your point, but I am worried about the payment issue.
I see your point, but I am worried about the payment issue.
Good, because agreement on one point makes your disagreement easier to hear.
Then I can say, I have one concern about launching before we retest the checkout process.
Exactly, and one specific concern sounds more constructive than a general complaint.
From my perspective, a failed payment would damage the customer's trust.
That explains your view, without claiming that everyone else is wrong.
May I offer another view? We could delay the full launch until Monday.
Polite, but do not stop at delay. Give the team an option they can discuss.
Could we consider inviting only 50 customers on Friday and watching the results?
Perfect, because you acknowledged the goal, named the risk, and proposed a safer first step.
Last year I stayed quiet. A similar bug reached customers, and our team spent Saturday issuing refunds.
That 3-part lesson shows why speaking up respectfully can protect both the project and the people. Let us review 5 phrases for raising a different opinion professionally. Phrase 1 is, I see your point, but, which recognizes an idea before adding a concern.
For example, I see your point, but Friday may not give us enough testing time.
Repeat after me. I see your point, but. Phrase 2 is, I have one concern about, which introduces a specific risk.
For example, I have one concern about the payment screen.
Repeat after me. I have one concern about. Phrase 3 is, from my perspective, which presents your personal view.
For example, from my perspective, customer trust matters more than speed.
Repeat after me. From my perspective. Phrase 4 is, may I offer another view, which politely asks to add a different idea.
For example, may I offer another view before we choose the date?
Repeat after me. May I offer another view? Phrase 5 is, could we consider, which suggests an alternative for the group.
For example, could we consider a smaller launch on Friday?
Repeat after me. Could we consider? Active recall. Your team wants to move quickly, but you are worried about quality. How can you begin?
You can say, I see your point, but I have one concern about the final test.
Excellent, because you respect the team's goal while making the risk clear.
Our manager replies, "The payment problem only happened once, so I think the risk is low."
Now you need more information, not a louder opinion.
I could ask, "What makes you say that?" But will that sound challenging?
Your tone matters, and you can soften it with genuine curiosity.
What makes you say that? Did the testing team find the cause?
Good. And when the answer is complex, ask, could you walk us through the latest test results?
Could you walk us through the latest test results?
The manager explains that 10 tests passed, 1 failed, and nobody could reproduce the failure.
Then I can say, if I understand correctly, the problem is rare, but we do not know why it happened.
Exactly, because summarizing the facts keeps the conversation neutral.
The data suggests most payments work, although one unexplained failure still deserves attention.
That is more useful than saying, I just feel Friday is wrong.
I see your point, but would it help if we asked the testing lead to run 50 more payments today?
Yes, and your earlier phrase connects the discussion instead of restarting the argument.
First we check the logs, then we repeat the test, and finally we compare both sets of results.
That 3-step plan turns disagreement into work the whole team can evaluate. Here are 5 phrases for exploring the evidence behind an opinion. Phrase 1 is, what makes you say that? Which politely asks for the reason.
For example, what makes you say that the risk is low?
Repeat after me. What makes you say that? Phrase 2 is, could you walk us through? Which requests a clear explanation.
For example, could you walk us through the latest test results?
Repeat after me. Could you walk us through? Phrase 3 is, if I understand correctly, which checks your summary.
For example, if I understand correctly, one payment failed for an unknown reason.
Repeat after me. If I understand correctly. Phrase 4 is, the data suggests, which connects your position to evidence.
For example, the data suggests the problem is uncommon.
Repeat after me. The data suggests. Phrase 5 is, would it help if, which offers a practical next action.
For example, would it help if we ran 50 more tests today?
Repeat after me. Would it help if? Active recall. A coworker gives a conclusion, but no explanation. What curious question can you ask?
Ask, what makes you say that? Or could you walk us through the results?
Great work, because questions reveal facts without turning colleagues into opponents.
At 10:20, the team agrees that more testing is useful, but marketing has already announced Friday.
One side wants safety, and the other side needs to keep a promise.
What if we release the app to employees on Friday and to customers on Monday?
That is a strong start because both priorities remain visible.
Our manager prefers some real customer feedback, so could we meet halfway?
Yes, then make the halfway point concrete.
How about a small test with 50 volunteer customers on Friday?
Good, and you can set a condition with, I can support that if the payment team monitors every order.
I can support that if the payment team monitors every order and stops the test after 2 failures.
Now the compromise has a group, a safety check, and a clear stopping rule.
Would it help if I wrote the checklist while the testing lead prepares the customer list?
Excellent reuse of an earlier phrase, and shared work makes the plan realistic.
We invite 50 customers, review the results Friday afternoon, and decide on Monday's launch before 5.
Those three beats create a controlled experiment instead of a vague middle ground.
That sounds like a fair compromise. Marketing keeps Friday, and customers get a safer full release.
Exactly. And you can use this approach whenever two valid goals appear to conflict. Let us review 5 phrases for building a practical compromise. Phrase 1 is, "What if we?" which introduces a possible solution.
For example, what if we test with employees before the customer launch?
Repeat after me. What if we? Phrase 2 is, "Could we meet halfway?" which invites both sides to adjust.
For example, could we meet halfway on the size of the launch?
Repeat after me. Could we meet halfway? Phrase 3 is, "How about a small test?" which proposes a limited experiment.
For example, how about a small test with 50 customers?
Repeat after me. How about a small test? Phrase 4 is, "I can support that if," which gives a clear condition for agreement.
For example, I can support that if we monitor every payment.
Repeat after me. I can support that if. Phrase 5 is, "That sounds like a fair compromise," which accepts a balanced solution.
For example, Friday for the test and Monday for everyone sounds like a fair compromise.
Repeat after me. That sounds like a fair compromise. Active recall. Both sides need to change their plans a little. What can you ask?
Ask, could we meet halfway, and then suggest one specific option.
Exactly, because a useful compromise needs clear actions, owners, and limits.
At 10:35, the manager asks if anyone still objects to the 50 customer test.
You raised the concern, checked the evidence, and improved the plan, so now show support.
I can get behind that, especially with the monitoring rule in place.
Excellent, because accepting the group decision is not the same as pretending you never disagreed.
Are we all comfortable with that? 50 customers on Friday and a full launch only after the review?
Everyone agrees, so the manager says, "Let us go with the controlled test."
I'll take care of the checklist and send it by 2 this afternoon.
The testing lead owns the payment logs, marketing contacts volunteers, and you prepare the checklist.
First we assign the owners, then we confirm the times, and finally we write the decision in the meeting notes.
That 3-beat ending prevents a good discussion from becoming a forgotten promise.
Great, we are on the same page, and I'm glad I did not simply say, Friday is impossible.
You can use this complete method in any meeting. Respect the idea, examine the facts, improve the plan, and support the decision. Here are the final 5 phrases for closing a disagreement with alignment. Phrase 1 is, "I can get behind that," which shows support for the final plan.
For example, I can get behind that if the team monitors the test.
Repeat after me. I can get behind that. Phrase 2 is, "Are we all comfortable with that?" which checks group agreement.
For example, are we all comfortable with the 50 customer limit?
Repeat after me. Are we all comfortable with that? Phrase 3 is let us go with, which clearly states the decision.
For example, let us go with the controlled test on Friday.
Repeat after me. Let us go with. Phrase 4 is I'll take care of, which accepts responsibility for an action.
For example, I'll take care of the checklist this afternoon.
Repeat after me. I'll take care of. Phrase 5 is we are on the same page, meaning everyone shares the same understanding.
For example, we are on the same page about the test and the Monday decision.
Repeat after me. We are on the same page. Active recall. The group improves the plan, and you are ready to support it. What can you say?
Say, I can get behind that.
Quick fire recap. I see your point, but could you walk us through that? Could we meet halfway? And I can get behind that. Today's best phrase is I see your point, but because it keeps respect in the room while you add an important concern.
Next time, we will practice how to ask for more time when a task cannot meet its deadline.
Thanks for learning with Anna and David, and we will see you in the next episode.